Well, hello and welcome back to the garden. I'm doing a little bit of a tidy up here in the greenhouse because I need to make a bit more space for myself. I'm not sure if the weather is going to hold up, but I'm definitely going to get stuck in and catch up with seeds. I have a Yakon to plant. I'm hoping to get my Hotbin Composter going again. And I'm definitely going to be planting my first potatoes for this year. Now, I've had this Hotbin composter already for multiple of years, and it is perfect for our little family and for all the kitchen scraps that are coming from it. Now obviously we're only using for vegetable, not for meat products, but still for this kind of real clean of changing all this vegetable peelings and cuttings into lovely soil is very handy. And I would have cleaned it out and emptied it at the end of last year. The main reason is because I just do not have enough of the leftovers or waste coming from the kitchen to keep feeding it, because you do need good, at least a gallon of vegetable peelings and cuttings to keep feeding this. And yeah, we just don't have enough of it. So what I've had so far would have been just going into the big pallet compost bays. So I thought, just because the weather has been actually really mild over the last couple of weeks now, and it's going to be mild again for the foreseeable 2 weeks as well, that I'll get the Hotbin up again, as it was just placed down flat on the ground during the stormy weather. And I'm going to fill at least all the carbon material that I've gathered so far to the very, very base of it, because you, even to start it off and get it going again, you do need quite a lot of material from the get-go. And I thought I'm going to cut the grass today, but I'm not. The just grass is a little bit too wet. It's just been a rainy few days here, so maybe next week if it's drier, we'll see. But at least I can place all my brown materials into it and out of my way, and I can get on with the seed sowing then. Now the composter initially needs to be filled at least from here to there, so that's good 2 feet in the height already, and obviously you can take the depth as well, which is another 2 foot. So I am going to try to just get to the very, very base. You would need to get some kind of sticks. So there's off cuttings here. And then I also have some plant waste that would have been green, but it's dried out. So this has become brown, which is now carbon. I have cardboard and then some chippings here as well. So I'm going to place all this to the very bottom of the bin. Now I have some kitchen scraps as well, and pieces of cardboard that's like the kitchen paper rolls and toilet paper rolls. So I'm just going to add all this in as well. There's very little of it. I'll keep the newspaper in the bucket for the next time. Now, when I said earlier that I'm going to be planting potatoes today, I did mean it. And I know it's only the second half of February, but hear me out. Now, month of February is absolutely okay to plant potatoes if you're in milder climate. And obviously Ireland isn't in a mild climate, but still from mid-March onwards, that would be really typical of me, sort of around St. Patrick's Day, to plant our potatoes. But I can see that out of the 2 remaining main crop potatoes that I still have in the pots to harvest, one of them is properly re-sprouting. So there's even little leaves on these sprouts already. And seeing all those new shoots coming out through the ground is just telling me that the weather is mild enough at the moment to trigger that kind of growth, which means that it is okay for me to plant the potatoes as well. Now, I'm not going to be planting all of them because I do have the first earlies, second earlies and the main crop, but I am going to be planting the first earlies, and I'm going to be planting still in the same pots. Now I'm going to do the bigger pots for these ones because the variety I have is Duke of York and they're known to have a bigger tubers, but they're 30-litre pots. I have a standard yellow coloured Duke of York and then red Duke of York. But I'm also going to leave those pots in the greenhouse here. So if we do get a colder spell, I do have more of a sheltered location for them. And also I have horticultural fleece that I can wrap around them. So they should be well minded inside here. And it's definitely warm inside here. Even daily, I'm keeping the top door open now, and likes of now with sunshine again, it's 21.9 degrees inside here. So it is very warm and even a little bit too warm for brassicas. So I do need to keep the airflow and circulation going inside here. But also planting them that early, I hope will give me a better opportunity to have something to harvest earlier as well. So the way I just keep it in my head for the first early, second earlies and third earlies. And the way I keep it in my mind for the first earlies, second earlies and main crop is that from the time of planting until time of maturity is about 3 months, 4 months and 5 months. I don't really try to track the weeks exactly. It's just, I never remember those exact weeks. So it's 3 months, 4 months and 5 months. So if I plant them now in the middle of February, let's say, we have March, April, May. So by mid-May, early June, I should have our very first crop of first earlies then. And the tubers themselves have been chitting away perfectly in the utility room. And there's lovely little chits on them already. Now, also, I'm not planning to plant all of these tubers. So this is the red Duke of York and that's the standard Duke of York. But I'm thinking that I would just plant 1 bucket of each of them. And I'll stagger the harvest a little bit, maybe hold off for another 2 weeks between them and then plant the next lot. So these are the bucket sizes, and I do add a layer of newspapers to the bottom. It is definitely not necessary at all, but I just feel like because there's obviously big holes on the bottom of the buckets, it would just contain the soil better, and it won't leave the soil residue here on the chips inside the greenhouse. No, so a couple of inches to the bottom. Then I'll add the seaweed granules and some poultry manure as well, or fish blood and bone, depending what I have. And I just put a thin layer on top of that again. No, I've still not sown a seed. There's just one interruption after another. We were just at the pergola now, took down that piece of timber. That took much longer than we thought. And yeah, that timber is fully rotten through, so we do really have to think now how we're going to fix that piece for the pergola. But now, where is this thing? Oh, there. It's such a pity I don't have any lighting inside here yet, because otherwise I could actually stay here and keep sowing the seeds as well, but I won't have the time. But what I definitely want to get done is I want to pot up this tube or rhizome from the Yakon that I ordered. I've been keeping it in our fridge, just in a cool, humid position, but it's sprouting itself already as well. And the main difference between this Yakon and the other Yakon I had was that this is, the tubers seem to be like in a pinky or red colour, as my one are just very neutral, natural colour. So I'm just going to pot it into this kind of a standard pot. The other Yakon rhizome that I had is doing very well in the utility. It has really good strong growth on it by now. And yeah, all I'm doing is popping it in here, let it start to grow, and then once the frost has passed, I can actually physically plant that out. Nothing special about it. Just pot soil, and I'll put this resting on it, and I'm going to cover obviously this all with soil as well. And it's going to go into the utility next to the other Yakon. And obviously label it now. Luckily it came with its own label as well, so I don't have to write it. And another job, while I still have the daylight, is to prick out and plant up these chili and sweet pepper seedlings. Now they already have their true leaves, and they're a bit leggy as well, but they can definitely benefit from having space now for themselves. And I'm going to probably do a really loose mix of soil. I'm just taking the compost and probably doing 50-50 with vermiculite. Just give them a good root run. Now, because the seedlings are leggy, I'm trying to pot them as deep as possible. Luckily all the seeds did come up for me, and this year out of the chili peppers I had Trinidad Perfume, Piquillo, Candy Cane and Chinese 5 colour, and then I have sweet peppers as well. Now all of these seedlings obviously will go back into the house. I just brought them out here to get this messy job done outside here. And it's lovely. It's just so nice to be able to spend time outdoors if the weather is any bit nice. And while I'm pricking them out and potting them up, if you haven't seen the February garden tour yet, go and have a look at it. And I'll continue with this job in the meantime. And hopefully we'll see you next time.